Start every day with a sunrise. Sunrise Seattle with Elisa and Mark Christopher on the new Smart Talk 570 KVI.
7:06 and 6 minutes after 7 here for this Tuesday, the 10th of January. If you're just waking up, alarm clock went off. Here you are with Sunrise Seattle. Elisa and Mark Christopher. Trust us. It is going to be a very good day because you're right here with us. Something good on your radio to make you feel better for where you live and for who you are.
Alarm clock went off. I hope my son's alarm clock went off because he's got to be ready to be at school in a few minutes, and I'm not there to rattle him out of bed.
We'll get some daylight here in about 35 minutes. Recently, 911 emergency calls have been very important to a lot of us. We've been thinking about it with recent headlines.
I'm here by myself with my infant baby. Can I please get a dispatcher out here immediately?
Are your doors locked?
Yes, I've got 2 guns in my hand. Is it okay to shoot him if he comes in the store?
I can't tell you that you can do that, but you do what you have to do to protect your baby.
Has this ever happened to you?
What a tough call. That was a situation in Oklahoma with Sarah, who we talked to last week, and she said, you know, what do I do when somebody's here breaking into my house? And we've got the people who can tell you what to do, or at least coach you through these situations. Melanie Brown and Diana Pardo Patterson are both King County dispatchers and 911 call receivers. And in our studios this morning, can you imagine getting a call like that? Or have you, either of you, ever received a call like that over 911 with somebody having, you know, saying, what do I do when the intruder's here? You're both looking at me like, I'm not sure if it's me or me. Which one of you has dealt with something like that?
Well, I think that pretty much all of us down there have dealt with calls like this. There's a lot of calls that come in where there are intruders already in the home or trying to get in the home.
And are they so hysterical that you don't know what to do, or?
I can't say that I've never known what to do, but every call is different, and some are very hysterical. And you have to work very hard to calm them down, to get them to focus, because it's very important that we get the information that we need to keep our officers safe and to help them.
And what would you have done when it came to this situation and she says, can I shoot him?
I would have probably said the exact same thing that the dispatcher or the call receiver said. You don't ever want to put yourself out there in a liability kind of situation. You do want to encourage people to do what they have to do to protect themselves.
Do you have like scripts or little notes, like based on what the call is, to, okay, we got a fire, grab this card. We have an intruder, grab this script, to just kind of guide you along to coach them, the caller?
Nope, we don't. We have a...
Shoot from the hip, huh?
Wow.
We have an SOP, but pretty much...
I don't know what that is. Standard operating procedure? Okay.
Exactly, but pretty much you're trained really well, and the job is pretty repetitious, and so you just get used to handling these calls. You do them every day.
How do you get used to it every day, not knowing what that next call is going to be? That's amazing.
Part of the excitement.
Oh, come on. Are you used to it every day?
You're never used to it. It's someone told me one time it was 7.5 hours of doing absolutely nothing, followed by 30 minutes of sheer terror.
Wow. Do you get many breaks? I mean, that's got to be that energy, that just that tense feeling when you're on the phone, not knowing the next call. Do you get like a break every hour to get just a little breather room?
We have the ability to walk off the floor if needed.
Okay.
And a lot of times, if you've got a tough call where you've got to go back and regroup, we have a quiet room. Totally shut off, no phones, no windows, dark. You go back, you regroup, and you get back on the horse and do it again.
Because before we hear one of your calls, you have had an upsetting experience, one of your most upsetting experiences, Melanie, that you wanted to share.
It's probably about 20 years ago, actually. The call came in on 911, and it was a man who was sobbing, which you always know that that's bad because that does not happen that often. Mm-hmm. What had happened quickly, his wife had been in rehab. They'd had some time together for the weekend. They'd come home for her to get some clothes and things. She went into the back of the house and yelled out to him, "I love you, Jim," and then she shot herself.
Oh.
That's exactly what my father did with my mother. He said, "I love you," and then shot himself in front of her. So I know that.
That's terrible.
Pierces right through.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I knew that when she told me that, I had to keep him from going back there because I really thought he was probably going to kill himself as well. Plus, it was the same gun that his son had killed himself with the month previous.
Oh, that just gave me chills.
And that's why she was in rehab. So he was way out in the boonies somewhere, like, think around Enumclaw.
Mm-hmm.
It took us a while to get there because they were so far out, so I had to keep him. I actually got him to go and sit on the porch.
It's amazing how you can try to keep somebody calm, but there was one caller, when I'm listening to the 911 tapes, you would not believe how calm this woman is.
911, what are you reporting?
Hello, I've got an intruder in my backyard and he won't leave.
What is the address, ma'am? Is he trying to get into the house at all, or he's just in the backyard?
He's in my backyard and he's taken my my screen door off my shed. So he has intruded into my back building.
Okay, okay.
And I've yelled at him and he won't talk to me.
Okay, but he can't access the house from what you can see.
No.
You could just see how the 911 dispatcher is just controlling the tone of the conversation.
But Diana, what did that caller do right?
Very calm, very cool, very collected, telling us exactly what's going on.
Almost like she's in shock.
Disbelief, yeah, that's the tone that you get from the caller.
Because the dispatcher gets a great description of the suspect, then the backyard, and and then the caller has to keep watching this intruder in her yard.
Like I said, they're driving there right now. Can you still see him out there?
Yes.
Okay. And he didn't say anything to you when you yelled out to him?
No.
Okay. You don't see any weapons or anything on him?
No.
Okay.
But I think he's looking at me.
Okay.
Right now.
And your back door is locked and everything?
Yes.
Okay. They're coming as fast as they can, hopefully not too far out. They've been coming since right after we started talking, okay?
Okay. 570 KVI here with Sunrise Seattle. We have Melanie Brown and Diana Pardo-Patterson, King County dispatchers. When you dial 911, these are two you would probably have on the other line. 30 years of broadcasting, you two, for myself. I have called 911 several times, whether it's a vehicle accident, a home fire, and I have to say, when you ask the questions, it calms me down. And it gets me to just grab my senses for a second, give you the information so you can do your job. And that's got to be very important to answer those questions.
Very much so. Our problem right now is the fact that we have so many cell phone callers. Getting a location or an address is extremely difficult.
Yeah, so you have no idea if they're frantic and you don't even know, and they don't know where they are. That's probably even tougher.
Well, even when they know where they are, if you're calling from home, they just they assume they've dialed 911. We know how to get there. That's one of our big, big issues right now.
Well, let's go back to this other calm caller, because it's amazing how she handles herself, and the dispatcher just keeps on having her keep her apprised of what's happening with these suspects in her yard.
And he's still just standing there in the backyard.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you staying inside, or did you go outside?
No, I didn't go outside.
Okay, I just heard something in the background. So.
No, I just stepped on my cat.
Oh, that explains the noise. It looks like a couple of my officers are arriving, but I want you to just stay on the line with me, okay? I don't know that they'll come to the front door. They might come right around the back, but just keep me on the line, okay?
Okay.
And I just want you to stay inside where you're safe. Do you still have eyes on him?
Well, no, you want me to do that? I just walked around to the front door.
Yeah, if you can try and seek out and just make sure that he doesn't jump the fence or anything.
Yeah, that would be hard. The 6-foot fence.
Oh, okay.
He's just standing out there.
He's just standing out there? Okay.
Yeah, and he's holding the door that he took off of my shed.
He's holding the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's holding it in his two hands. Just standing there holding it.
Okay, just keep me on the line. I'm just talking to my dispatcher here.
He just walked a little closer to me.
Okay, just stay where you're safe.
He's got a white utility kind of helmet on.
A white utility helmet?
Well, he didn't have it. He's got it in his hand. He just put the door down and walked a little closer to me.
Okay.
No idea what he's doing out there.
If you have a 911 call that you experience, you're listening right now, we'd love to hear about it and your experience with 911 operators here. Call us toll-free, 1-888-312-5757. It is 7:15. Again, Melanie Brown and Diana Pardo-Patterson, King County dispatchers. giving us basics and what we need to know when, hopefully it never comes, that we need to call 911, be calm, and provide that information. Many people ever hang up by accident, and then, again, is that a challenge with cell phones now to call back and try to figure out who they were?
That happens multiple times a day, all day long, every shift. And you do have to call back. Often it's the kids playing. Often it could be someone with a medical emergency. It could be someone reporting a crime. And it also was the pocket dialers on their cell phones.
You get a lot of pocket dialers?
Tons.
You too, huh?
Tons.
You ever call back?
Yes, we call back.
And they might just be sitting in the car and...
They often don't know that their phone is dialed.
Oh, my gosh.
They often don't know. So.
And I can imagine the sound of you two sitting there going, oh, another butt dialer. Is that what you do?
Exactly.
We can hear it now. So we've heard the calm, and that woman, they got the bad guy, and everything was okay. But coming up next, one of the more hysterical calls. This is a bizarre one. And what do these dispatchers do when they get into situations like this? It is now 7:17 here on Smart Talk 570 KVI with Elisa and Mark. It is Sunrise Seattle.
Now back to Sunrise Seattle with Elisa Jaffe and Mark Christopher on Smart Talk 570 KVI.
It is now 7:20 here at Sunrise Seattle, and we are speaking with King County dispatchers Melanie and Diana. And Melanie, one of the things you said was you got a call from a person whose wife committed suicide in the background, and you always wondered, was he going to end his life? What happened to him? And he actually called you a few months later?
He called me a few months later to tell me that I did save his life by not letting him go back into the room where his wife was and where the gun was. And he knew I'd been wondering about him, and so he called to thank me, and I was really grateful because it had been bothering me.
What a rewarding call after all the calls you get. That one must have felt good to hear that.
It does. It does.
You feel like you saved lives? Do you feel like a hero?
Some days you do. Yeah. Some days you do.
That's neat to hear. When do you feel like you were a hero?
Well, that's the one that really stands out the most for me. But there are times when, levels of being a hero, I think, are they're gradual. Mm-hmm. You know, you can, as long as you do the best to help somebody and you change their life, you enrich their lives, you help them, you save their lives. There's all levels, I think, of being a hero to people.
It's hard to do it when the caller is really frantic and hysterical, though, right, Mark?
Yeah, just like in the last segment, of course, we gave you maybe the calm version of a 911 call. How about an actual call that has a little bit more energy, perhaps a little more confusing?
911, what are you reporting? Okay, sir, quit screaming. I can't understand you. What's going on?
My mom is passed out.
Your mom is passed out?
Please, hurry up, please.
Okay. What happened before that, sir?
We just turned her on.
Okay. Quit screaming so I can understand you so I can get help.
Please.
Is it just medical?
Yes.
Okay. Stay on the phone with me, okay?
There's nothing wrong with her.
Stay on the phone with me.
Oh.
Diana, is that extreme, or is that something you hear all the time? Is that old news for you?
It happens more times than we care to happen.
Really?
All the time, yes.
And that was like 35 seconds, and here your job is we got to get the address so we can get the help there.
That's exactly what it is.
Wow.
Is there a famous case that you've covered that you were on the 911 call, or a notorious case here in the King County area that you can remember?
The one that stands out in my mind for years, and this has always bothered me, received a phone call from a man who was concerned about his brother. His brother had called from the Federal area saying that he was distraught. He was going to kill himself. He was going to kill the family and such. We started off with doing a welfare check in Federal Way, going to his house, and while we were there, we received a phone call from Tacoma Police asking us to do a welfare check on the same man, that they had gotten word he had killed his in-laws and killed his parents. So now 4 people in the Tacoma area are dead. We get to the door, and we have minimal information from the brother. He's downtown Seattle somewhere. We get to the door, and as we're knocking on the door, you hear gunshots. the dispatcher heard gunshots over the radio, where he had killed himself. And after searching the house, we found him with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His wife hiding in the closet with an infant who he had killed. And he'd killed both of them and another child.
How do you sleep?
So a total of 8 people dead in a matter of just a couple hours.
Unbelievable.
Goodness, and that's what you're hearing over the line. And I like that you said we. You are a team. You are part of the department. I really like that.
And not just our department, but all law enforcement throughout the area.
Phone numbers here at Sunrise Seattle. If you've had experience with a 911 call, we'd love for you to share your story. Call us here in Seattle at 206-421-5757. The hysteric call that we had with a gentleman, obviously we can't get much information out of him. So what does a 911 dispatcher do to get the information?
We can.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
No, listen, okay? We're getting out there as fast as we can. How old are you?
I'm 11.
You're 11? Okay. How old is your brother?
He's 19.
Okay. Can you try to help pull it together?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're all getting out there as fast as we can.
Okay.
But what we need to do is we need to try to be nice and calm for your mom. And yelling and screaming and crying is not helping her at all. Okay?
Did you already believe?
We're getting out there as fast as we can. And you're doing a good job.
Okay.
Now, your mom, did anything happen before she passed out?
No. She just laid down.
She just laid down? Did she fall down? Like she passed out quick?
Oh, my goodness. The kids must get to you some of the most, I bet. I can see it in your eyes. Look at you tearing up when you hear that. Melanie, what happens when the kids call?
It's often heartbreaking. And I think it makes you just want to do your best even more than you do already. You can really put yourself in their place. We've all been kids.
Yeah. Do you have a young one that you remember?
Seems like about 10 years ago I got a call where a little kid was about 4, maybe 5 years old, and their mom had fallen in the shower, and the kid was really calm. It was weird. It was really strange.
But the 4-year-old knew to call 911.
Yep, and they were able to speak quite well. I was able to understand her. She was crying. I got her to calm down, and fortunately she had dialed 911, so we just went with the address off the screen, and it was correct. So they got some help out to her.
And thank goodness it wasn't a cell phone, because would they have even known their address to tell you what it was? We got to go back to is there any resolution in this frantic, hysterical call?
We're not quite done yet. And I must compliment both Melanie and Diana. These voices you have.
I know. I just want them to read me nighttime stories. Come over and read me to go to sleep at night.
Outstanding. And I'm sure the years and years of doing this has really developed your skills to be calm. All right. So we have the gentleman's on the phone. He's going nuts. Mom's passed out. We get the 11-year-old at least getting some information. But then you face this scenario.
Okay. You're talking to my 11-year-old sister.
Because she's answering me and you're not.
Honestly, just give me how many questions do you guys have to ask? Why do you guys ask 10 million questions? If a person is dying, why do you guys want to ask 10 million questions?
We're getting out there as fast as we can.
Hello?
Hi. Hi. No, listen, okay? We're getting out there as fast as we can.
Melanie, you look at me like I've been through this. Diana? Go ahead.
Or do you ever just want to say, shut up?
I'm ready to. Like, hey, come on.
There's a lot of things you want to say. I will admit that for anybody who does this job.
But you're taped, so you don't do it?
You have to be careful. Yes, you do have to be careful. That fella, he was a mess. He was.
Yes.
And some people, no matter how good you are at this job, some people you cannot get through to, just like him. Now, to be logical, if you were to think about it, the aid person's going to have a lot of questions about what's going on with his mom. Is she breathing? Is she bleeding? Is she, all these, they have a lot of questions so that they send the right help. And that's just the kind of person you can't get through to. You just have to send what you've got, and you get there, and you find out what's going on.
So, Diana, when it's something like that, have you ever been yelled at, screamed at by people who are calling in?
I've been called.
Oh, is your microphone on?
There you go.
You've been called...
I've been called everything but a woman.
Everything but a woman? Really?
Oh.
What's that like? Here you're trying to provide a service, and they are calling you every name in the book.
Oh, it's difficult. It's difficult. I've had to tell a caller, I assure you I'm not the one that broke into your house. I assure you I'm not the one that stole your generator. Please, I'm trying to help. You're calling me 911 for assistance. Don't yell at me. Just answer my questions so that I can help you.
In 10 seconds, what is the number one quality we need if I want to be, or Elisa wants to be, a 911 dispatcher? What do you got to have?
Common sense.
I love it.
Well, that rules us out. 7:30 here on Sunrise Seattle Smart Talk 570 KVI. Will you guys come back? Let's do the lighthearted stories. Okay, we want to do the lighthearted 911 calls.
The fun days, the fun calls. We'll have to do that here
You
in
guys
a
are
short
great.
time.